came across this crazy video of a crow.
A resourceful bird eyed a discarded water bottle nearby. With deliberate pecks, it nudged small stones into the bottle's mouth, each one causing the water level to rise. Patiently, the bird continued until the water reached a height where it could dip its beak and sip, refreshing itself amidst the day's heat. A testament to nature's resilience and adaptability, the scene unfolded quietly, illustrating the bird's ingenious solution to quench its thirst in an unexpected urban environment. A resourceful bird eyed a discarded water bottle nearby.
Um, that may seem crazy, but there are tons of these videos of crows doing this. Why? Because of a kind of an ancient fable. Once there was a thirsty crow, but the water in the jug was low. Pebbles in the jug he did drop, and the water rose up to the top. The crow drank the water and was no longer thirsty. This is an example of Archimedes' discovery. What? Why are we talking about crows and water, Mrs. Kachuk? And who's Archimedes? I don't know. Have you ever heard of Archimedes? Lots of places have talked about Archimedes. He's quite famous. Whoops. Okay. In this video, they are supposedly using Archimedes' dial. Archimedes never really had a dial like that, but he did do lots of experiments with water displacement. It's what his kind of theories on that are very well known. There's one famous story that has to do with our science concept, which you might be wondering, what are we talking about? Okay, here's how the famous story goes. The king had asked a craftsman, the king in Archimedes' time, to make him a new crown. He gave the craftsman enough gold to make the crown. When the king got the crown, he thought that something wasn't right. He was sure the craftsman had cheated him, but he didn't know how. The craftsman assured him, "Weigh it for proof. It weighs exactly the same as the amount of gold you gave me." So he did. The craftsman, so the king weighed the crown, and it was the same as the amount of gold. The king still thought something was wrong. He called Archimedes to come along, because Archimedes was already well known. Here's where the story gets a little weird, but hang with us. As the story goes, Archimedes was taking a bath when all of a sudden it hit him, and he yelled, "Eureka!" which means "I found it." He realized that objects placed in water displaced the water. This, of course, isn't all of his discovery. We know that when you get into a bathtub, it displaces. The important part regarding the crown problem is that Archimedes proved that the amount of water displaced is equal to the volume of the object. How does that help the king? Archimedes proved that the volume of a crown made of pure gold would be different volume than a crown of the same weight but different metals. If the crowns had the same weight, which they did, but they were made of different metals, they would have different volumes. So as the story goes, the crown maker had cheated the king and mixed other metals in with the gold. Then he kept some of the gold for himself. That was good for the king. He caught the culprit. But what does this mean for us? This means that we can measure the volume of irregular solids by placing them in water. The amount of water displaced is equal to the volume of the object. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we use a graduated cylinder. We use measurement. One way to do it is to place it in and have it pour into another container. If you can, another easier way is to use one graduated cylinder. You don't spill any water. Fill the graduated cylinder part way with water, enough to cover your object. Record the volume of water. Place the object in the graduated cylinder. Record the new volume on the graduated cylinder. Subtract the original volume from the new reading. That's the volume of the object. Original volume 50, place the key in it, 60, 60 minus 50 is 10. This has a volume of 10 milliliters, which can be changed into cubic centimeters. Eureka! Good luck, have fun, now you're going to practice and test.